The twilight sun slanted across the golden grasses of the savanna, casting long shadows from acacia trees. A thin breeze stirred the tall stalks. Far off, a lone waterbuck lifted its head, alert, ears flicking. It was dusk, that fleeting moment when the sky smears between day and night, and when creatures of darkness begin to move. Karua crouched beside a shallow rock outcrop near the cave's mouth, her heartbeat steady, ears wide for danger. She was one of the clan of Homo habilis, small in stature, hair thick and coarse, limbs long from climbing, but body grounded enough now to walk upright among the grasslands. At about 40 cycles of seasons, she had lived more than many, seen more than most. She held in her hand a sharpened stone, edges flaked just right, created by hours of patient hammering on another rock. It was dry bone she'd cut to make a scraper, but the tool was more than utility. It was promise that she might harvest the marrow from fallen animals, the sinew from scraps, the meat from kills. Behind her, two of her younger kin, Loma, her daughter, and Saka, her nephew, argued softly in their nursery of low bushes. They were watching the sky, waiting for her return. The cave behind them was home, dark, cool, safe from midday heat and heat of predators. But it had its own dangers. Karua stood. She stretched lean limbs, peered up the rocky ridge. The sun's dying light painted red slashes on cliffs. She held the tool close and stepped forward. The clan needed meat tonight. The scraps from yesterday's kill were already tough, already gone. She trod across cracked stone, across pebble ridges, toward where bones and fragments of old kills lay scattered. Night was settling. The first call of an owl, or something like one, echoed across the wind. Karua's pulse flickered. She paused. In her mind, the lore of the elders, tales of a beast with leathery wings, sharp ears, eyes glinting like moonlight. Monster bats larger than any she'd seen. They were spoken of only in low voice. She found what she came for, the remains of a wildebeest that had slipped into a river ravine, felled by flood or accident. Flesh still clung to rib bones. The marrow in the larger bones was fresh. Already, vultures had picked and left. Hyenas had carried off more vulnerable, tender parts. Karua knelt. With careful hands she began scraping, then prying. She breathed shallow, alert to every sound. A soft flap. At first just air shifting. Then louder. As the sun disappeared, the shadows coalesced against the cave's overhang. Karua's spine quivered. Instinct tugged at her to rise, to retreat. She looked up, two massive wings, thin membrane stretched taut over bones, casting a silhouette. Eyes glinting in the faint twilight. Teeth, so many teeth. The creature swooped, claws extended. Karua cried, a harsh, raw note that split the quiet. She threw the stone upward blindly. It scratched the beast's underwing as it passed. A flash of pain, a screech, not just the bat's but from Karua's soul. The massive bat landed momentarily on a ledge, wings folding. Its breathing hissed in shallow gusts, its head cocked, testing. Karua rose, clutching her scraper. Loma and Sokka's voices from below, a whisper caught in fear. She knew, in that instant, that the cave, which had seemed refuge, was no longer safe. Stones forbade sharp edges. Her lungs filled with desperation. The bat moved forward, wings unfurling. Its eyes, pale as moon-scored stones, fixed on Karua. It lunged. Karua ducked, stumbled backwards. The ground underfoot was loose gravel. Her knees scraped, her scrapings of stone flitted away like birds startled. She grabbed a chunk of quartz, hurled it upward. It struck the monster's wing. It screeched, more than before, a sound of tearing leather and rage. In the confusion, she scrambled away, with the beast flapping above her. Dirt fell, pebbles slid. The sky, now dark, framed the silhouette. Loma's voice again, a little cry, echoing. Suckers. Karua felt herself slip past a threshold, from predator-prey battle into sheer survival. She tripped over a root, fell. The bat descended, claws scraping stone near her head. Karua's hands curled around her tool, aimless but desperate. The cave behind her yawned black, but moving toward it was moving into the unknown. No guarantee of safety, but perhaps better than here. With a roar of anguish and courage, she rose, sprinted. The bat lunged one final time, grazing her arm, claws tearing flesh. Pain exploded. She gasped. and plunged into the cave's shadow. Embers of dawn. The cave's interior swallowed Karua. Cold stone walls closed in, darkness pressed at her ears. There was no moonlight here, no stars. Just the echo of her ragged breathing, the drip of moisture in unseen recesses, the distant murmur of the outside night. The bat's screech retreated above, its wings buffeted against stone high in the cave's entrance. Karua crushed her teeth shut against pain, pressed hand to arm. Blood wet through her fingers. She tasted metal. She forced herself not to scream. One step, then another, deeper inside. The walls narrowed, passageways forked. Loose rocks tumbled under her feet. She paused at a deeper chamber, where others of her clan had made small nests of grasses, Loma and Sokka among them. The danger had come for them sake, too. Karua called, but voice rough, words thick. Loma appeared, skin pale in moonlight filtered faintly through a fissure. Sokka followed, quivering. They stood back, afraid. Karua raised her arm, showed the stain of blood. Sokka whimpered. Loma reached forward, pressed a palm to Karua's wound. Karua gritted her teeth. No time to rest, no time for sterility. But the clan had learned, gathers of herbs, smoothed leaves, cool water from seep under stone. Loma brought a broad leaf, pressed it. Karua closed eyes against sting. They waited. Outside, silent now, save wind. Time measured in heartbeats, in drips, in Loma's soft hum to soothe Sokka. Karua's mind turned inward. Images flickered, those eyes, the tusk-sharp claws, the wing membrane glinting in dusk. Was it hunger? And for how long had monsters like that roamed the skies, hunting the walkers below? Morning light seeped at last into the cave mouth. Pale amber. The world outside exhaled color, green grasses tipped gold, sky smeared blush. Kara's throat raw, but she called for the clan. One by one, bodies stirred. The injured, the old, the young. Outside, the ground glowed with dew. Karua limped. Loma supported her, Sokka clung behind. They emerged into a world bright and glorious and somehow changed. The wildebeest remains were gone. Vultures and hyenas had finished what Karua had risked for. She looked up, blue sky, broken by torn clouds. No sign of the bat. Her wound throbbed. But she carried something stronger than flesh, determination. The clan gathered. Eyes met hers. She held up the tool, the scraper, its edges smeared with dark stain, not of blood alone but of risk, of courage. It came from above, she said, voice hoarse, not from beasts on the ground. Her people nodded. It was a warning. Threats could descend from where they didn't expect. They moved away from the cave mouth, deeper into grass, seeking shade of rock overhangs, scouting for safer shelters. Loma found a crevice in a boulder where the bat could not reach, overhead canopy thick. Sokka remained close. Night came again, softer perhaps, because of what had been learned. Karua stayed awake most of the night, tool beside her, senses alert. When the bat's shadow passed overhead, she struck a torch, dry grass, flint spark, and fire blossomed. The bat hissed, backed off. Light, warmth, smoke drove fear into wings. The clan stood together, hearts hammering. They saw that fire would be their ally, for danger from sky, from ground, from shadows. Karua held little Sokka's hand, Loma's arm rested on hers. Together they watched flames curl. Dawn rose again. The wound on Karua's arm was swollen, but dressed. She limped, but stood. The sky was empty of monstrous wings. She had survived. They had survived. In the days that followed, stories would form, of the bat in the dusk, the scrape of claws, the sting of escape. The elders would mark the cave walls with charcoal, sketch the shape, wings broad, teeth many. They would teach the children, when light fades, beware the sky. When hiding, tunneling deep, think of fire, think of tool, think of alertness. And in time Karua's arm healed. But the scars, on flesh, on heart, would remain to remind them that survival was not only about strength, but about cunning, about seeing danger not just at the ankles but above the head. That night changed them, made them more watchful, more together. In generations to come, the memory would be told, of Karua and the bat. Of a dark swoop, a fleeing into shadow, a return into sunrise, flames against sky. It would be more than myth. it would be lesson. Because in the dance between predator and prey, sometimes the night wins, but only if fear stops the hands that make tools, the minds that watch the sky.